All right, we are recording. So this is episode 2 of Dynamic Discussions. I think that is the title we are going to be going with. And what we do here is interview people who have had great success in health and wellness in one way or another. Today we get to chat with Kevin. And Kevin is a pretty cool guy. He's super hardworking and likes to make himself uncomfortable. He's probably done some of the most challenging workouts that I've seen done at Dynamics. I remember one day on his 51st birthday, I watched him flip our gigantic tire 51 times, which is pretty incredible. And he has had a pretty awesome transformation, which we are lucky enough to learn from today. So, Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Just so actually Thursday is my birthday, so I have to find something to do 52 things of.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's already been a year since then. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, crazy. But thank you.
Of course. So do you mind, Kevin, sharing with us a little bit about where your journey started with this whole fitness thing?
Yeah, no, not at all. It started in 2014. We had just moved up here from Saco, and I was 250 pounds. I was really going through a hard time emotionally with, I had just been diagnosed with depression and PTSD, and just things personally were not going well. So I wasn't physically and emotionally, I wasn't in a good place. And then right around that time, just before the move, I had a physical with my physician, and I was obviously overweight. My cholesterol was up, and she said, among other things, I would like you to lose the weight. You know, bring your cholesterol down. You can try with diet. We'll put you on low dose cholesterol medication, but I would really like you to try and lose that weight. And so for a little while, I'd been driving right past Dynamics. I used to live a block and a half away from it. And then one day I just decided to send him an email and say, I would like, information on getting a personal trainer. And Joe got back to me. And then it started from there. It was actually the last, I think it was the last week in April of that year. Joe got back to me. I started the week after, and that's where it started. Basically, one personal training session a week. It started with.
So you started with one-on-one. You did start boot camps, yep. And fitness was where you turned to immediately after the doctor asked you to try to lose some weight.
Correct. It was basically fitness. Just going in there, not knowing anything about fitness other than I knew I had to lose the weight. And I was just at the point where I was willing to just do whatever it took. Like just whatever Joe told me to do, I would do it. And then regardless of how I felt.
That's awesome. So the doctor told you that you needed to lose weight, and you went after it. It sounds like. How did you have that motivation for it? I feel like oftentimes that would be a hard thing to just go right out and start.
Yeah, I think I was just in such a place where I was just, it sounds like a cliche, but sick and tired of being sick and tired. Have you ever heard that? I was just to a point where I was like, whatever I'm doing now is not working. I don't feel good. Obviously it didn't happen overnight, but I just kept showing up week after week, and I saw the small changes happen eventually, and then I just started to feel better, and that just kind of snowballed and kept me motivated and kept me disciplined.
Mm-hmm. So you did start noticing differences in your overall body composition and feeling just with the one training session a week?
I started with that, yep, and then with Joe's recommendation on changing some of my diet, just making small changes here and there, nothing crazy, and then I eventually would eliminate lots of processed food. Started shopping at the farmers market more because we were right down the street from the farmers market. Doing a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables, more organic type foods and whole foods and meats and chicken and stuff like that. And then eventually once I started doing that, it was just unstoppable.
Do you feel like that the biggest motivation to keep going was that you could see the results?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Once I saw the results, and once I could tell how much better I felt, I knew I didn't want to go back to feeling the way I did. So,
but I guess before we should move on, you said that you were overweight. You were about 250 pounds. Could you tell us where you are now?
right now, I'm at 200 pounds. That first year, I think I went all the way down to almost 165.
Wow.
I think, yeah, I dropped a whole lot of weight. And then, as I picked up more personal training sessions and did more boot camp classes, I was building more muscle. So my weight started to come up slowly. So,
yeah.
But now I'm about 200 pounds.
That's incredible. So you lost almost 100 pounds.
Almost, yeah.
Wow. That's wicked cool. And it's also very cool that you're now building that much muscle. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest challenges along that way from being 250 to down to about 165?
The biggest challenges, I think, were more mental than anything. Just realizing how not just out of shape, but how imbalanced my body was. Like I could tell, like my right side was much more weaker than my left side. Doing what I thought were simple tasks like squats or hinge type movements, deadlifts, stuff like that was just so difficult to comprehend. And it would just, in my mind, I was like, I got to get it perfect. I got to get it perfect. I think that, you beat yourself up when you fail something or you don't do something right. And I think that was the biggest challenge, is accepting that sometimes it's not going to be perfect. You're going to fail. It's just part of the process and you have to accept it.
Well, how did you accept it? Was there anything that helped you to get there?
Lots of talks with Joe, and like some of the other trainers just saying, just talking me through it, part of the journey. Look at where you started, look at where you are now. People were noticing and just telling me, hey, good job, you look great, stuff like that. So it was a bunch of little things, not so much one specific thing. But I think all those talks with Joe and the other trainers were there at the time were helpful.
Yeah. I guess Joe's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he is.
So that was the hardest thing. What do you feel like was the easiest thing along the way? Was it very easy to pick up any healthy habits?
The easiest thing, looking back, which at the time probably felt like the hardest thing, was just changes in what I ate. Making those small changes, I think those had the biggest impact. Is just looking what was in my food, actually reading food labels.
Yeah.
Eliminating all that processed sugar. I was never a soda, like a big soda drinker. So I didn't have to worry about eliminating that because I didn't drink soda. But I think eliminating alcohol, processed sugars, and then just, organic, more whole food type of stuff. Just my diet, basically it was the diet that was the easiest.
Yeah. Did you do any education on that stuff, or was it basically you listened to some of Joe's recommendations and you just cut out the stuff that we typically know we shouldn't eat?
The recommendations from Joe, and then just looking the stuff up myself.
Yeah. And you said that you cut out processed stuff and alcohol. Do you still avoid those things, or do you allow yourself to enjoy them nowadays?
Now I allow myself to have a little bit. It's not like I used to do it before. I only drink wine on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
2 glasses, and that's it. I don't drink the rest of the week, unless like a special occasion, date night or something like that. But just 1 day a week with the alcohol, And then I allow myself something sweet every now and then. I don't punish myself or anything like that. So,
do you find that that's very helpful in keeping up with that? Not that it's a specific diet plan, but a specific diet, allowing yourself to have those things is helpful to stay consistent the rest of the time. Yeah.
It's I think people have a relationship with food. Like when you get into health and fitness and stuff like that, you punish yourself when you eat processed. It doesn't have to be that way. As long as you watch what you eat and you moderate, it's okay to have something sweet and something bad occasionally, so you don't deny yourself. Yeah.
And so you said this whole journey started in about 2014. It's now 2021. How did you keep it up this entire time? I know you went through that journey for like about a year, you said, right?
That's when I saw the biggest changes. In that first year, all that weight came off. I was feeling good. I was learning more because I was taking boot camps now. I was confident enough that I could withstand a boot camp class at the time.
Yeah.
So I was doing those. That I think it was just the atmospheric dynamics is just, I found a group of people, a group of friends where you show up and everybody's positive, everybody cheers you on. There's no judging or anything like that. It's just, I just found that atmosphere is what kept me going. Is what wanted me to do it all the time.
Yeah. And you continue to love it, and it continues to keep you coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you kind of mentioned it. You said the biggest game changer in the overall transformation was that nutrition piece.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think that's what you can control the most.
Yeah.
And like I said, at the time, it seemed like the worst because you don't want to give up certain things in foods, and sometimes it's hard, and you don't know what tastes good, what doesn't taste good. But now looking back, it was the easiest thing to change, and I think I saw more results when I did that than just the fitness alone.
Yeah. Did you immediately go to like cleaning up the ingredients, or did you look at portion sizes, or like what types of, I guess for lack of a better word, things did you try in the realm of nutrition?
Portion control was huge. As I was going along and learning more and reading food labels, you learn what a serving size is versus what you actually eat when you're not. So learning portion control, that was kind of challenging. But I think I made small changes here and there. I didn't just completely wipe out what I was eating and try and do like a diet type of thing. Small changes, just looking the stuff up on my own, and then paying attention to portion control.
Yeah. Did you track anything like calories or macros, or you didn't go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, not like I probably didn't start doing that until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So that first 4 or 5 years, I was just more or less kind of winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the past probably 3-ish years, less than 3, I've been really tracking, my macros and calories and stuff like that.
Is that for any specific reason? Like, do you feel like that's more for performance nowadays?
I think it's more, I would say it's more for performance.
Yeah.
And plus, I realize once you don't do that, it's easy to get off track. It's easy to let something slide here and then something else slide, something else. So it's real easy to get off track. For me, I think tracking it is probably the best way to get the best bang for the buck, so to speak.
Yeah. What do you use to track it? Do you use any apps or just like pen and paper? Or?
Yeah, I use an app on my phone. It's actually the First Form supplements app.
Okay.
It's fitness and food tracking, so that's what I use.
Cool. I haven't heard of that one yet. Awesome. So big question here. If you had to sum up your entire transformation in your journey into one quick thing, like a quick elevator pitch, somebody is asking you how you did it, what would be that one sentence?
Yeah. I think this is probably the toughest because I don't know how I can sum it up in just like 15 or 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
I would say that regardless of how hard, you would just have to stick with it, regardless of how hard it is. Know that it's never going to be perfect. You're going to fail. You're going to not feel like going or doing the workouts or stuff like that. Regardless, is just try to just stick with it, regardless of how you feel.
Yeah.
Just accept the bad days along with the good days.
Awesome. Thank you, Kev. Thank you very much for doing this and sharing your story and everything. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. Thanks.
Awesome. And thank you, everybody. I just realized my name is Joe Shat on here still. I'm actually Ryan, but no worries. Thank you, everybody.